Konnichi, what's up guys? Grand Princess is finally here, what has become my favourite event Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling puts on each year. An event that promises big title matches and special single matches. Before we run down the card, let's do some announcements and some housekeeping. At the January 4th show, Sanshiro Takagi announced that he will be hosting another event on public transport, a situation that accrued notoriety from across the world from not just wrestling press but bigger media outlets too. He has already held matches on a bus and the Shinkansen against Minoru Suzuki, and this time is holding a match again on the Shinkansen, but this time featuring the Girls of Tej. The event has already occurred, so I highly recommend checking it out on Wrestle Universe. Also, at the Night Before Grand Princess show, Hyper Misao held an audition match for who could be her best friend. All girls failed to impress Misao with the task she gave them, eventually devolving into a handicap match against Misao. But afterwards, Misao announced that she will be producing a Hype 3 show later this year. Myself and the crowd were into it, and they should be. Hype shows are great pieces of performance art that really dig into the pathos of Tej's more lower card wrestlers. They have all benefited those that they have featured, with Mihiro Kiryu and then Raku. Nothing has been decided yet, but I think the best candidate would be Haruna Neko, who has been with the company for 8+ years but has gotten lost in the shuffle. Finally, some big unfortunate news is that Sayuri Namba, the resident ring announcer for Tej, will be graduating come June. Now, usually a ring announcer is not that important to a wrestling company in the grand scheme of things, but Namba is something that, in my opinion, was integral to the overall feel and vibe of Tej. She would always be involved in Tej extracurricular activities, dancing along with entrances and chatting with wrestlers when in the ring, as well as much more. I honestly can't do justice to how much she will be missed. A special show has been set for Namba's graduation, but no plans are final yet, as in Namba's words, why would a wrestling show present the announcer as a main character? Namba has chosen to decide to leave as she got a work visa, deciding to move to Canada as it is close to America, but getting a visa to America is hard, so Canada is close enough. She has no plans, no friends, no job prospects in Canada. I mean, with all that announced, it sounds like she's running away from deck collectors or something. No plans have been made for who will replace Namba, but whoever they are, they will have huge heels to fill. To kick off Grand Princess, we have a tag match of Shina Suzuki and Himawari versus Mifu Yoshida and Yoshiko Hasegawa. Mifu Yoshida is Tokyo Joshi's latest signee. She debuted for Tej at the January 4th show after being at Ice Ribbon for about a year. She settled into TJPW well, even getting a pinfall victory to her name. This will be the first big show she'll be a part of for Tej, so hopefully her partner Yoppie can help her to win. Their opponents have tagged previously in the Max Heart tournament, making it to the semi-finals before being beaten, and it seems if Himawari and Shino can get a win here, that tag team may become official. Then we have an 8-person tag match of Kekoru Sakaguchi, Haruna Neko, Mihiro Kiryu, and Ivy Steel versus Kirasama, Uta Takami, Chikana Nanase, and Kayatori Bami. The big news for this match and Haruna Neko is she got her first singles pinfall victory in 2 years last month, which is a crazy statistic. Granted, Neko had been out on injury for a year before then, but still. Sakaguchi is back after being booked in Tej specifically because of how much she resembles Mihiro Kiryu. Maybe the two will take advantage of this and dress in the same outfit to confuse their opponents. Next, we have a special singles match of Max the Impaler versus Moki Miyamoto. Max has been more involved in the tag team aspect of Tokyo Joshi this past year. They have been teaming with partner, pet, bludgeon, Palm, going for the tag titles via the Max Heart tournament with Palm, making all the way to the finals before being defeated by Kakio Kyomei. With their partner Palm being in a singles championship match later in the show, Max will instead be facing Mocha instead. Despite Max making appearances in Tej since 2022, Mocha has never faced them, whether it be in singles matches or tag matches. The two have never crossed paths. When Palm faced Max all those years ago, it was a boom to her career and she skyrocketed up in value in Tej ever since. Mocha is someone who I find has not been doing so good, especially when compared to her year mates like Suzume, Arisu, and Yuki Arai. Maybe the match here against Max will breathe new life into Mocha's career and allow her to reach those same heights. After that, we have a tag match of Asha Kong, Yuki Kamifuku, and Wakana Uhura versus Toga, Haru Kazushiro, and Yuki Aino. A big upset at the Max Art tournament, for me at least, was Kamyu and Mihiro's supposed breakup, as the two were in separate tag teams after having been known as the Toyo Mates before. The two met in the Max Art tournament, and I so wanted Mihiro to beat Kamyu to prove that she made the wrong call. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and it seems Kamyu and Wakana are now a thing, teaming often when they can. And this time with Aja Kong. Toga and Haru are still teaming after a failed attempt at the tag titles and then a failed run at the Max Art tournament. The two are toughing it out together, and I think they will eventually find success in this tag team of theirs. And perhaps teaming with a two-time champion like Yuki Aino will be able to impart some knowledge onto them. Next up, we have a championship match for the Setup All Asia Women's Championship. It's champion Pom Harajuku versus challenger Raku. After Pom and Raku won their match at a Winterfest show in February, Raku held Pom back as she wanted to talk to her, asking if she could accept her challenge for the Setup Championship. Pom initially declined, but Raku was able to convince her because of how much she loved her. Raku and Pom have fought for this title before, going for it in Thailand in a triple threat match. Raku was the one who was pinned, while Pom in a rematch was able to succeed and win the title. Raku has never been able to stop thinking about that match since. Pom has such devotion for the Setup Championship. Not only is it the first title she has ever held, but with it being from Thailand, the country where Pom discovered wrestling and inspired her to join TEAJ, is the love of a country stronger than the love of someone else. Then we have a special singles match of Miya Watanabe versus Willow Nightingale. Now, this is a match with some history behind it, one of the most pivotal matches that never happened in all of TEAJ. Willow Nightingale was meant to debut for TJPW at SummerSlam Princess 2022 against Miya Watanabe. Unfortunately, due to visa issues, the match could not go ahead, meaning that Ryo Mizunami had to sub in her stead. This, to me, was the turning point, as it meant that Ryo Mizunami became more involved in TEAJ and appearing in many different events across the coming years, and even winning the tag titles. This was also the turning point for Miyu, as the match was such a beating, such an eye-opener, that it forced Miyu to lock in and was the first step to her becoming Princess Champion. What was going to be two up-and-comers from East and West facing each other in a friendly bout has now become two well-established wrestlers with multiple titles under their belt, facing off to show all that history behind them has shaped them in the present day. After that, we have another special singles match of Yuki Arai versus Meiko Satomura. This will be the last match of Yuki Arai as an idol. After this, she will be under Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling full-time, and the opponent to welcome her into the world of full-time wrestling is none other than legendary Joshi star Meiko Satomura. Satomura is still technically under WWE, I think, though she hasn't appeared since 2023, but Satomura is just so badass that she can go off and do whatever she wants. She has been preparing her retirement tour, with her career concluding in April. This may well be the last time she appears in a TJPW ring, so it is an extreme honour for Yuki Arai to be that opponent, and not some of the more senior members of TJPW. I hope Arai gets the most out of this match, as after her international championship reign that concluded in January, with her reign of 365 days before dropping the belt to Suzume, her performance here will likely dictate what her trajectory in TEAJ will be. I mean, she ain't winning, you kidding me? Next, we have a match for the International Princess Championship. It's champion Suzume versus challenger Arisa Endo. At the January 4th show, Suzume beat Yuki Arai with an ass cutter, ending her year-long reign and gaining her first ever singles championship. After another victory over Jada Stone, who was fantastic during her TEAJ tour by the way, Arisu came up to challenge Suzume for the belt. Suzume was hoping for it, as she was thinking of challenging Arisu as she successfully beat Jada. The two are well known for their tag team of Daisy Monkey. Now that they are no longer tag champions and Suzume is going off on her own as a singles champion, the two are excited to face each other in a singles match for a title, something they have been talking about before Suzume even won the International Championship. In the 3 singles matches the two have faced off in, Suzume has won every single one. The two are not sure what will happen after the match, but they are both excited to see it together. Then we have a tag match for the Princess Tag Championship. It's champions Miya Yamashita and Maki Ito of 1-2 Million versus Hyper Misao and Shoko Nakajima of Kakyo Kyomei. 1-2-Million succeeded in defeating the two Gaijins of Masha Slamovich and Zarazaka. The two traveled to Chile to defend the titles again, while everyone else was competing in the Max Heart tournament. A tournament they themselves did not enter, making it that much more apparent that they were the prize at the end. And that's just what their opponents did. At the January 4th show, Shoko was poisoned after drinking an evil snake potion. The drink was handed off by former snake wrestler Akane Miura. Don't know if this was latent snake control or not, but poisoned Sawada emerged with a whole den of snake wrestlers, the poison having affected many other wrestlers, with Sawada saying that Misao must defeat Soko Nakajima, or risk being turned into Viper Misao and serve him forever. Shoko was able to come to her senses, and the two thwarted Sawada, who did vow vengeance. The two now strong in each other for the Max Heart tournament. They fought their way through and made it to the finals where Max and Palm faced them. After a hard-fought fight, Misao and Shoko were victorious and were ready to face 1-2-Million, shouting at them to come home from their title match in Chile with the belts or they will be banned from Japan. They want to face 1-2-Million for the titles and no one else will do. In an exhibition match before Grand Princess, the most energy came from when Yamashita and Shoko were facing off. The two have been with the company the longest, fighting for title belts since they were first introduced, and the two have clashed in the Max Heart tournament many times, with them both being in the finals for the 2023 edition of the tournament, where 1-2-Million came out on top, and then went on to win the tag title belts after. There has been a bubbling resentment from Shoko towards Yamashita and Ito. She explained her feeling in a very Shoko way, comparing Ito and Yamashita to overpowered Pokemon in the competitive scene. Miyu is an Ogapon, and Ito is a Dragonite, which Ito liked as she loves Dragonite. But then Ito fired back that Shoko was a Geodude, which Shoko hated as Geodude is a weak Pokemon, but it does have Sturdy, so it can survive a one-hit KO and launch a counterattack. These references were lost on Yamashita, so Namba had to come in to explain. A similar anger has also been building up in Yamashita against Shoko, and she made her feelings clear by delivering a skull kick and pinning Shoko in the match leading up to Grand Princess. This for me is my most anticipated match on the card. Finally, it's time for your main event for the Princess of Princess Championship. It's champion Mizuki versus challenger Rika Tatsumi. Mizuki managed to beat the Monster Princess Miya Watanabe at the January 4th show, marking the start of her second title reign, with her Majirabi tag partner Yuka Sakazaki watching from the side. To decide who would be facing Mizuki for the title, a special battle royale was set up, with Rika Tatsumi coming out on top. Now, Rika and Mizuki have a complicated relationship. Rika loves Mizuki with all her heart, and when Mizuki is happy, Rika is happy. When the two are in matches together, even as opponents, Rika will do all she can to get close to Mizuki. At the press conference for Grand Princess, Mizuki unveiled something incredible. It was the first love letter that Rika ever wrote to Mizuki. She did not read it out loud as it was very long and filled with sentiments of how much Rika loves Mizuki, but it did show Rika's love for Mizuki. But it also shows that Mizuki has some feeling back as she still has the love letter with her after all these years. Passages from the love letter were used in the poster promoting the match. Rika feels that her time as Princess Champion was cut short, so she will be ruthless in order to win it back, even if it means Mizuki will hate her. Mizuki also feels the same way, worried that if she goes all out, Rika will also hate her. In what surprised me to find out will be the first ever one-on-one match the two have ever had together. Grand Princess will stream live on March 16th with English commentary provided by Hakusan and Other Man, yet to be decided. Catch the event on Wrestle Universe for less than $9 or £7 for a whole month of streaming with a 1-week free trial. This looks like a fabulous show with many incredible special singles matches and title belts on the card. I'm excited to see the results and how they will affect the rest of the year. So that's all for now. See you soon. Ta-ta.